Well, it's trade deadline day in the NHL, so teams might look a lot different tonight, but I still have two bets to get to, so let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday episode of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Conium, and for today, I busted out the old school logo Phil Kessel jersey for NHL trade deadline day and one of the biggest trades in the Leafs history, for better or for worse, depending on who you ask. Apologies if my voice is still raspy. Still getting over whatever it is that ails me. Thank you to the daycare plague. Two bets today, just two. The slate is fairly decent size for an NHL slate, but with the trade deadline, I don't want to get too deep into it. Some players might not play, some are on the move, which means some teams might be shorthanded, so I just picked two. But as always, if I add more throughout the day, make sure you're following me on the BettingPros app. It's linked in the description below, or on the website. Over 100 followers on there, which is pretty cool. I track all my plays, synced, verified, so every bet I make shows up on that app. So if you're not following me on my socials, you can also do that too. Two bets today. We're going to start with New Jersey Devils and the Winnipeg Jets. Instead of picking a side on this one, we're going to go to the under. You've got the Winnipeg Jets first in the Central, first in the NHL, 43-16-3. And then you've got the New Jersey Devils, 33-24. Last season and a bit of this season, I had this strategy where if a team plays on back-to-backs, taking the under on the second half of the back-to-back. This would apply here as the Winnipeg Jets played last night against the Philadelphia Flyers. It was a 4-1 win. But I like this under bet anyways, because let's look at these numbers. New Jersey is 39-22 to the under this season. They are the top team to the under in the NHL this year, actually by a fairly wide margin. They have gone under in 64% of their games. The next closest is the Anaheim Ducks at 62%. Then you've got the Winnipeg Jets. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are the 10th best team to the under this season at 55%. They are 33-27 to the under this year. Now, when you look at when these two teams have played, it has actually skewed towards the over, but they've only played once. They haven't played in an entire year. They haven't played this season. So they have played once in 2024. Then you go back to 2023. So we can kind of throw those numbers out a little bit. When you look at the Jets just overall, they've gone under 7 of their last 10 hockey games, including 6 straight, including that game last night against the Philadelphia Flyers where it was a 4-1 final. Then you've got the New Jersey Devils. They are 6-4 to the under in their last 10 hockey games. They just went over against Dallas, but previous to that, they had an under against the Vegas Knights, under against Utah, a push against Colorado, and under against Nashville. So just the way these two teams are playing, have been playing all season long. New Jersey, the number one team to the under all year long. And then the Winnipeg Jets, who are right there as well. And they played last night. So I'm going to go ahead and take under 5.5 at DraftKings for the Devils and the Jets. And then the only other bet I have today is the Minnesota Wild on the money line at the Vancouver Canucks. This is skewed a little bit. I made this bet last night. I got it at plus 110. It's gone down a little bit to plus 105 or even money, so make sure you're shopping around. But the Minnesota Wild are much better. They're 8 more wins than the Vancouver Canucks this season. They're 36-22, 2-2. Vancouver 28-22, 10-1. But how about the Minnesota Wild on the road this season? 22-9-3 straight up on the money line for the Minnesota Wild. And you've got the Canucks, not so great at home. They've been better as of late. They've actually won 3 straight home games. But previous to that, they were actually under 500 at home. So they have turned it around a little bit. But I don't think they've turned it around enough to beat the juggernaut that is the Minnesota Wild. Then when you look at the matchups, Minnesota has won 9 of the last 10 meetings dating back a few years against the Canucks, including 3 straight. They beat them 3-2 already this season. Before that, it was a 10-7 game last season. 17 goals in that game. Minnesota Wild have won 2 straight. Their last win coming on the road against Seattle. Previous to that, they did beat Boston. But before that, they lost 3 straight. So they're sort of muddling around a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything further at the deadline. Then you've got the Canucks. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10 games, so they've played okay. They're coming off a 3-2 win. It was against the Anaheim Ducks, who obviously aren't that good. And they just came off a very extensive road trip where they lost to Seattle, they actually lost to Anaheim, they lost to Utah, they lost to Vegas, so they haven't really been playing all that well. Yes, they've turned it around slightly at home, but the Minnesota Wild are just an absolute juggernaut on the road, and they're, really careening towards the playoffs, trying to get positioning, battling it out with Colorado, and then you're getting it at plus 110 or plus 105, plus money in general for one of the league's top road teams. So that is my bet, is the Minnesota Wild on the money line. If I add more, be sure to follow me on the BettingPros app or across my social channels. But for today, give me the Jets and the Devils to go under 5.5, and give me the Minnesota Wild on the money line. Good luck to your team at the trade deadline. Let's see what they do. I don't expect big things from the Leafs, but you never know. We'll see. Have a great day. We'll be back on Monday to talk more. And then we start getting into F1. We start getting into March Madness. Going to be a lot of fun. And we'll still be talking hockey here, of course. Let's talk sports.